Hey everyone, welcome back to week 6 of our story series. I hope you've been learning a lot about how God has given you a unique story to first of all discover and then to share with others. So far in our series we've looked at S, which stands for spiritual gifts, and we've learned that all of us have been given at least one spiritual gift. The T stands for temperament, which is our personality, those unique character qualities that God's given to each of us. The O stands for opportunities, and we've discussed the unique opportunities that God's given to you and me that have shaped us and molded us, and often those opportunities are God's gateway to a significant ministry to others. The R stands for resources, those natural talents that God's blessed us with. Those are things that come natural, are those abilities that we're good at. And today we're going to look at the Y in the acronym STORY, which stands for Yearnings. I don't know how many of you have heard the story about Chris Kennedy. Chris was a golfer from Florida. And in 2014, a friend challenged him with this challenge. Either you donate to your favorite charity or you get doused with a bucket of ice water. Well, he took the challenge and then sent it to his wife's cousin and challenged her. Chris Kennedy chose the ALS Foundation, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, as his charity because his cousin's husband suffered from the disease. Well, his cousin Jeanette accepted the challenge and she posted the video on her Facebook and then sent that challenge to some of her friends. The principle behind the challenge was either to donate to the ALS Association or record a video of yourself being doused with ice water and then challenge 3 other people to donate or get doused as well. That small little video was the start of something big. As you know, the video went viral. And most people who were challenged chose to give and get doused and then challenged 3 others. The result of that simple idea was that the ALS Foundation saw donations of $113.3 million between July and September of 2014. As a result of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Compare that to $2.7 million donated during the same time the previous year. On Facebook alone, 28 million people uploaded, commented, or liked the Ice Bucket Challenge. Now, you never know what a small offering or idea may do and how it may change the world. God may be laying on your heart a concern, a need, something you feel strongly about, and during this series he's challenging you to take a small step and see what happens. Today we want to learn about yearnings. What do we mean by yearnings anyways? What are we talking about? The dictionary tells us that yearnings are a deep longing. Sometimes they're accompanied by tenderness, excitement, or sadness. You see, these are the things we feel strongly about. As someone said, these are the things that cause us to pound the table. We feel strongly about them. Our blood pressure may rise a little bit when we think about these things. These are those areas that we're passionate about. And in this series, we want to help you identify those areas of passion. The Apostle Paul was a very passionate person. We learn a lot about his passion, and we get a glimpse of some of the things he was passionate about in Romans chapter 9. Beginning in verse 2, Paul says this, "My heart is filled with bitter sorrow and unending grief for my people, my Jewish brothers and sisters." Now listen to what he says. He says, "I would be willing to be forever cursed, cut off from Christ, if that would save them." Did you catch that? Did you catch what Paul is saying there? He feels so strongly about winning his people to the Lord that he's even willing to forfeit his own salvation if it meant seeing them enter heaven. He wanted to see them come to Christ and had such a passion to bring the good news of the gospel to people who had never heard it before. I don't know about you, but I don't know if I can make a statement like that. Paul's heart was so burdened with the lostness of his friends and relatives, it says he had bitter sorrow and unending grief. In Romans chapter 15, Paul writes, "My ambition," which is his passion, "has always been to preach the good news where the name of Christ has never been heard." Someone has said that Paul was the Star Trek apostle. He boldly went where no man has gone before. Paul was passionate about taking God's love and God's message to people who never heard it before. What about you and me? What happens when we learn about our yearnings? Well, how do we do that anyways? Well, one of the ways to discover what you're passionate about is to ask yourself some questions. So I want to encourage you to in your group to discuss these questions. First of all, what do I long to see happen for God? When I think about it and I take some time to slow down and pause, what do I long to see happen for God? A second question might be, what area in our church or our community or our world do you feel the needs are the greatest or need the greatest attention or help? What age group or gender group are you most concerned about? What area, what group of people are you passionate about? And finally, I love this question. If I could not fail, what would I attempt for God? I want to encourage you to think about and discuss these questions in your group. And I'd like for you to start with that last question first. If you could not fail, knowing you could not fail, what would you do for God? I'm excited to hear the reports about how new need-meeting ministries will be started in our church, in our community, and in our state, around the world, because people are learning about their yearnings. Some of you may recognize the name Candy Lightner. On May 3rd, 1980, Candy's 13-year-old daughter, Carrie, was killed by a drunken driver, a hit-and-run driver in Fair Oaks, California. The 46-year-old driver had recently been arrested for another DUI hit-and-run, and he left Carrie's body at the scene to die. Over the next 9 years, Candy, Carrie's mother, kept hearing similar stories about how the laws concerning those driving while intoxicated were minimal at best. And after 9 years of fueling her passion and the concern and the frustration, they were all channeled in a positive way when in 1989, Mothers Against Drunk Driving was founded. I don't know about what God might be doing in your life or what He might be leading you to do. I do know that He's given you some yearnings. And as you pray and you listen for the Holy Spirit to lead you, I pray that you'll do something bold for God. I hope you have a great discussion. We'll see you again next week, and God bless.